Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Peggy Jean, Egyptologist and artist, and today I just want to do something that I want to call sand palette studies maybe. I have a watercolor palette here, which I use for testing some techniques for my upcoming kids book about ancient Egypt, and I'm still figuring out the tone and the techniques I want to use in order to create a consistent look of the illustrations throughout the whole project. I have planned a lot of things to draw and paint, and so it is crucial for me to stick to a certain style that I can manage through the whole process. So in this video we will paint a little bit with watercolor in natural sandy earthly tones, and I just want to say I am not going to use these images in the book. They are just studies, okay? And we will probably also talk a little bit about things that are going on right now in my personal life. And yeah, this video here is for you to relax a little bit with me and just draw and talk. I am using here a sketch block from Canson, and honestly I think I will not use it again because it is made from normal paper, cellulose pulp, and it cannot be compared with the 100% pure cotton paper, even just for exercising. Usually I'm using Arche paper because I really like the smooth reaction of the pigments on the surface. So this is actually just to try out some colors, but not for the real texture. Personally, I prefer watercolor paintings to all other techniques from my illustrations. I tested a lot of techniques like pencil, charcoal, oil pastels, acrylics, and so on. And I always thought I wasn't just talented enough, in fact, you only need to find the right technique that's fitting you. The same is, by the way, for any kind of sports, for example. My whole life I thought I was untalented. I had bad marks in school, and I was always one of the last one to choose for a team for ball games and so on. I was running too slow and I hated gymnastics because I was always afraid of the balance beam and so on. So actually I was afraid of act-free lesson in sports. But then when I turned 30 years old, I moved to a new city, and next to me was a public pool. I found new friends, and one time she suggested to go for a swim. Well, I ended up swimming 10 kilometers a week for many, many years. I found out that swimming was the right thing for me. I swam faster than others. I had a good stamina, and of course I got in a very good shape. And with watercolors I recognize the same pattern. I not only like the process of mixing and blending and layering of the 1,000 possible shades of color, but I absolutely love results when the liquid is dry and leaves a tiny stain on the edges. With the right paper, which should be always 100% cotton to get the best results, as I mentioned before, a complete new world opened to me. This was some kind of sensory experience. And yes, you can have that with acrylic or with oil painting too, but the water is my element, It feels right for me and is as if the colors were patiently waiting for me for such a long time. I am Pisces, Cancer rising, and I have also a lot of Scorpion energy, all water signs. And although it might sound a bit, esoteric, but you don't have to believe in such things. In the end, it is just showing you your blueprint, what your soul is made of. And yes, you can live a life that goes in the complete opposite direction, as we are humans, and we are here to explore the universe as far as we can, even if it might hurt us for a while. But in the end, we return to ourselves, and it makes us feel whole again. And so I feel the same with my paintings. I immerse myself in it, and basically during the process of creating such small drafts like this here, I am going through many phases of doubts, and I start becoming too critical and want to throw everything away and start new in the best case. Yeah? And in the worst case, I abandon my ambitions for a very long time just because I thought I was not good enough. Yeah? But I'm now in an age where I don't have to prove myself anymore. I'm 49 and I know what I am capable of and what not. I know my limits and my flaws, and drawing with watercolor is therefore a kind of therapy for me. I don't know. I committed myself now to stick to it despite the outcome. And this is the most important lesson I've learned. If I want to change something fundamentally in my life, I have to stick to a behavior, even if it takes ages for the results to appear. Here, by the way, I'm sketching out the shape of falcon, which is the god Horus, which is actually the god of war, but it has also a protective symbolism behind. let's talk a bit more about what's going on in my life right now. And yeah, today I was so confused and I don't know in which direction I want to go with my YouTube channel here. And I made the mistake and analyzed other creators. Actually, I overanalyzed them and I feel pretty lost. When you're starting out or starting over on social media, you tend to see only the successful channels in the beginning. You watch their community grow, you see the thousands of views and so on. But when you dig deeper, you realize there are very rarely channels that become successful overnight. The majority of the YouTube creators are actually dinosaurs with video uploads reaching back to 18 years or so. No joke, I found a super crazy talented comic artist here on YouTube who posts only occasionally, and I didn't understand why his views were so low. The video editing was top notch, the image quality was extremely high, like he recorded it with the professional studio equipment. But the big success, his channel never grew. The big success never came, and I wondered why. Then, as if the algorithm can read my mind, I found an interesting channel that provides artists with incredible advice from an art seller's perspective. What to do if you want to sell more of your art, create more processing videos, do videos because I don't know. Others say do not create art processing videos because it would only attract other artists and not buyers. And seriously, this raised the question in my head, do I even want to sell art? Why not speaking to other artists with my video? Why not? Should I niche down? Or should I not niche at all? Am I building a personal brand or an educational channel for artists or for history lovers or for, I don't know, for other authors who want to illustrate their own books just like me? Yeah, sometimes it is difficult to navigate through the vast ocean of opportunities. And the serious answer is I don't know. The confusion reached its peak level, and I start to refuse to nail myself on a certain topic. At least not for now. I have so many ideas in my head, and my videos are still awful, I know. I'm testing, I am experimenting, and throwing over all of my recordings because I feel ashamed. Then there is that little voice in my head that says, don't care. Yeah, stick to your premise, go with the flow, and figure it out on the go. I thought I have a clear vision of what I want to go, of where I want to go, and how I want to achieve my goals. But right now, I allow myself to just float in this vast pool of possibilities. Learning to trust my gut feeling and not worry about the outcome. And when I look back into my life, it always worked out. It always worked out that way in my life. I got the best results when I just followed my intuition without sticking to a tight framework. I know what I want, but I'm happy right now that I caught myself getting clear about that I don't know anything. Seriously, it might sound crazy, but in the moment of the highest confusion, I step out of the scene and it's like I observe myself being confused. And for the blink of an eye, I just am. No hurry, no judgment, no schedule, no desire to fix anything. And when I snap back into my dense reality of the rent being due in a few days, I'm now able to smile a bit about that circus we are in. And yeah, I think everything is going to be okay, guys. And yeah, we will see. By the way, here I'm using watercolor pencils to refining the edges. And these are watercolor pencils with high dense pigments from Faber-Castell. They are actually made not for professional artists, but for hobbyists and beginners. But they allow me to smoothen the edges and to create soft layers of additional color that I can blend then after with some water. The symbol that I've drawn here in the upper right corner is actually a hieroglyph with the phonetic sound Shen, and it's called also a Shen ring, and it is a protective symbol. Everything that is inside the ring is protected, and if you look at some pharaonic names of the kings of ancient Egypt, you can see the so-called cartouche or cartouche, which is actually deriving from the French language. And this is basically a Shen ring around the name of a pharaoh. And according to the length of a name, either from top to down, also top to bottom, or from left to right, or from right to left, the Shen ring is then more an oval ring. Yeah? But as a single symbol like this, the ancient Egyptians have drawn it in such a circle. you.